vote. We know Canadians are heading to the polls, this advanced polls this weekend. Of course, a campaign is being run by Canadian Muslim Vote, empowering Muslim voters to take part in the advanced polling right across the country. So I'm going to bring in from Toronto, Ali Manek. He's the executive director of the Canadian Muslim Vote. Ali, thanks a lot for sticking around. I know you were listening to sort of both the two respective leaders there. We heard from Liberal leader Justin Trudeau and also now just NDP leader Jagmeet Singh. I want to get your take right now in terms of what you heard from there and how you're seeing, how you've seen this election unfold. We're now just a week away before the big day on the 21st.
Yeah, I thank you so much for having me, first of all. But it definitely was really clear, right? Your voice is important, your vote is important, regardless of where you're voting. Participation, we hope, will increase across Canada for every community. And especially the Muslim community, which is the one that we're focusing on, to really engage, educate, and mobilize the community across the country. So I think that the biggest thing is when things like these press conferences take place and the communities that are watching are educating themselves, they're doing a lot of our job for us, right? They're educating the community, they're helping form decisions, and hopefully helping to pull out more voters.
What are you hearing from Canadian Muslim voters in this election? It's been an interesting one.
It definitely has. So what we did was we did a national survey across Canada to try to narrow down what the most important issues were in this election. We did that across Canada. We ended it in around August. And I think that what we found, and I should mention that the Muslim community is made up of so many different Muslim communities, and every community faces barriers in a different way, faces democracy in a different way, and certainly faces issues in a different way. So what we tried to do is create some sort of commonalities. What we found was the number one issue on the minds of the Muslim community across Canada is still Islamophobia. And I think that there's something that needs to be said about that as well, because despite the progress that we've seen, despite the diversity that we've seen in the government, despite all the massive voter turnout that we saw in 2015, there has certainly been a rise in Islamophobia. There's certainly been a rise in the alt-right, a platform for white supremacists, and the Muslim community is usually a target of that. So that was our number one issue. The other issues like foreign affairs and our relationships with other countries came up quite a bit. And surprisingly to me, but maybe it shouldn't have been so surprising, was how high the environment came up in the issues that are important to the Muslim community. So it's a diverse group of people that we've polled to figure out what is important. And I think that our responses were also quite diverse in terms of who's addressing them and who's addressing them in the best way.
And have you been able to, I mean, this has been the big campaign that you've been putting forward this week and getting them to those advanced polls. What's the success rate been like to sort of say, here are the issues? This is, as you heard, you've been hearing from all of the leaders, this is your opportunity to make that important decision.
Yeah, and so it's been super successful in the last few days. So on Friday, our Friday sermon service that we did at 130 mosques across Canada, we anticipate by the end of the weekend, so by the end of tomorrow, we'll have touched 400,000 members of the Muslim community to encourage them to participate in the voting and also to educate themselves on the issues. So if you go onto our website, which is canadianmuslimvote.ca, we've broken down the party platforms to really try to make sure that everyone who has an issue and wants to vote based on what that issue is, they really do get an easy understanding of what the platform is so that they're able to answer the questions and make an educated vote, a vote right, with purpose behind something that they believe in.
Wow, I really appreciate you sticking around. Ali Manek, Executive Director of the Canadian Muslim Vote. Ali, appreciate this. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.